There was a couple in Warri, Delta State, named Gabriel and Kemi. If you saw these two, you would think they were made in heaven and sent down as husband and wife. Their love was so sweet. People who lived close to them would always talk about how peaceful their home was. There was laughter, there was joy, and there was that kind of love that made you smile even when you were not the one receiving it. Gabriel was the kind of man every woman prayed for. He was gentle, respectful, and hardworking. His presence was strong. He loved his wife, Kemi, with all his heart. You would never hear him shout at her, not even once. If you saw them walking together, you would think they were still dating. Always holding hands, whispering things into each other's ears, and laughing like best friends. Kemi, on the other hand, was not just beautiful but very calm and graceful. She had that kind of beauty that didn't shout but stayed in your memory. She was a graduate, yes, but when she got married to Gabriel, she chose to stay at home and build their family. Even though she was educated, she didn't carry pride in her chest. She treated her husband like a king and saw herself as his queen. Every morning, Kemi would wake up early, cook food for her husband, and serve him with a smile. And you know what was sweet? Gabriel would follow her to the kitchen and help her cut onions and tomatoes. He didn't see it as a big deal. He would say, "As long as I'm with you, I'm happy anywhere." Sometimes, they would both sit on the floor and peel yam together, talking and giggling like young lovers. On weekends, they would go out together. To the cinema, to the garden, or just for a walk in town. Gabriel loved to show his wife off. You would see him open car doors for her or help her fix her hair at home. They were truly happy, and their home was full of peace. One sunny afternoon, Kemi called her husband inside their bedroom. She sat him down, held his hands gently, and looked into his eyes. "Sweetheart," she said, "I've been thinking. I'm a graduate, and I've been home since we got married. I want to get a job now. I want to support you, and also keep myself busy. I'm tired of staying home alone." Gabriel looked at her, smiled softly, and said, "Babe, you know I love you. I just don't want you to stress yourself. And you know how some bosses can talk to their workers anyhow. I don't want anyone shouting at my wife." Kemi begged him gently. "Please, honey. I'll be fine. I need this. I want to support us. Let me at least try." Gabriel looked at her for a moment and then nodded. "Okay, no problem," he said. 2 weeks later, Kemi came running into the house, jumping up. "I got a job. I got a job," she screamed. Gabriel stood up, hugged her tightly, and lifted her off the floor. "Congratulations, my love. I'm so proud of you," he said. They danced in the living room, played music, and even popped a bottle of wine. It was a day of joy, and Gabriel supported her fully. A few months into the job, Kemi started coming home late. Sometimes she was too tired to cook, too tired to talk, and sometimes she would fall asleep on the couch with her bag still in her hand. Gabriel, who used to be the one being taken care of, became the one cooking and cleaning the house. He didn't complain at first, because he knew his wife was working hard. But the house became quiet, too quiet. The laughter that used to fill the rooms was no longer there. It was just silence. One night, while they were eating, Kemi said something that would later change everything. "Sweetheart," she said, "I've been thinking. Since I now come home late and don't have time to take care of the house like before, why don't we bring my younger sister, Esther, to help us for now? She's just waiting to gain admission. She can stay with us and help around the house." Gabriel looked at her. "I don't really want anyone staying with us right now," he said. "I'll try to manage. I can help around." But Kemi insisted. "Please, honey. Just for a while. She will help, and once she gains admission, she'll leave." Gabriel didn't want to argue too much, so he agreed. 2 days later, Esther arrived. Esther was young, about 24 years. Very beautiful, with bright skin and a sharp figure. She had the kind of beauty that made people look twice. But she was also quiet and respectful. When she entered the house, she greeted Gabriel respectfully. "Good evening, sir." Gabriel nodded and replied, "You're welcome." Kemi introduced her formally. "Sweetheart, Esther is here to help us until she gets into school. Please make her feel at home." Gabriel said, "No problem." But things started changing, slowly. One afternoon, Gabriel came back from work early. As he stepped into the living room, what he saw shocked him. Esther was walking around in very short clothes that left little to the imagination. Gabriel looked away immediately, trying not to think too much. But that night, as he lay on his bed beside his wife, he found himself thinking about what he saw. He shook his head and said to himself, "No, it's not right." Days passed. One evening, Kemi told Gabriel, "Sweetheart, I have a work retreat. I'll be gone for a week. But don't worry, I've told Esther to take care of the house and take care of you. Please eat well, and don't miss me too much." Gabriel smiled faintly and said, "I'll be fine." After she left. That evening, Esther wore a mini dress again. She walked into the living room and met Gabriel sitting quietly, scrolling through his phone. "Good evening, sir," she said sweetly. "I've made your favorite meal. Are you eating now?" Gabriel looked at her and got lost in thought again. He struggled to answer. "I'm thinking about work," he said. "I'll eat later." After eating alone, Gabriel went to bed. A few minutes later, he heard a knock on the bedroom door. "Who is it?" he asked. "It's Esther, sir," she replied softly. Gabriel's reply opened, "The door is not locked." Esther stood in front of him, holding a cup of hot tea. "I thought you might need this," she said, handing it to him. "Thank you," Gabriel said, trying not to look at her. But instead of leaving, Esther sat beside him on the bed. At first, it was just silence. Then she looked at him, deeply, with eyes full of something Gabriel didn't understand. Before he knew it, they kissed. And after that night, everything changed. They began an affair in secret. They laughed together, played together, and shared meals like lovers. Esther would feed him with a spoon, giggling like a schoolgirl. At night, when the house was quiet, they would lie together under the sheets, while Kemi was away, trusting her husband and her sister. When Kemi returned, she didn't suspect anything. She had no reason to. But the man she once knew had changed, and the sister she trusted had become a stranger. Even when Kemi tried to be close again, Gabriel had already drifted. One night, as they lay in bed, Gabriel turned to her. "Honey, it's been long. Let's spend some time together." Kemi, tired and sleepy, replied, "Please, I'm so tired. Maybe tomorrow." And Gabriel stayed awake, angry, broken, and full of guilt. One day Kemi came back home earlier than expected. She dropped her bag quietly in the living room and started walking toward the bedroom. But as she got closer, she heard soft sounds, whispers, laughter, movement. Her heart began to beat fast. She pushed the door slowly. And there, on the bed, she saw the worst thing a wife could ever see, her own husband, Gabriel, with her younger sister Esther. She screamed. "Esther! Gabriel! What am I seeing? In my own house. On our matrimonial bed." Esther jumped up and ran out of the room, covering herself with a bedsheet. Gabriel stood up slowly, confused and ashamed. "Kemi, please let me explain," he stammered. "Explain what?" Kemi shouted with tears in her eyes. "That you slept with my sister. The same sister I brought to help us. The same girl I told to take care of you." Gabriel fell to his knees. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. You've been pushing me away. You're always tired. You stopped giving me attention. Don't blame me. Kemi cried. Don't you dare blame me. Esther came in, also on her knees. Sister, please. I'm so sorry. I don't know how it happened. Please forgive me. But Kemi stood up and pointed toward the door. Esther, pack your things and leave this house now. I don't want to see you again. Leave. The next day, Kemi locked herself in the room, crying. Gabriel came in, knelt by her side, and begged. Please, my wife. It was the devil. I didn't plan it. I still love you. Don't let our happy home be destroyed. Kemi, with tears running down her cheeks, looked at him and whispered, It's my fault too. I gave room for all this. I left you alone for too long. I forgive you, Gabriel. They hugged tightly, both of them crying in each other's arms. The next day, Kemi resigned from her job. She decided to focus on her home again, to rebuild what was broken. 1 year later, the house was filled with joy again. Kemi gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. And just like before, laughter returned. Love returned. And peace lived in their home once more. Thanks for watching. My dear viewers, let me ask you a deep question from this story. If you were in Kemi's shoes, would you forgive your husband? Would you let go of the pain and try to rebuild your home? Or would you send him away forever, even if he begged for your forgiveness? Please, drop your honest thoughts in the comment section below. Your opinion might help someone out there going through the same thing. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel for more deep, emotional, and morally instructive stories. See you in my next video. And always remember, your choices can either build or break your home. Choose wisely.